Oh, hey everybody, what's up? Did you know that our desires can be laid out and revealed to us after death? How do you like feelings? How do you like having feelings? I mean, they're all right, but also meh. I feel like a lot of the times the emotional world is this murky, opaque dream / nightmare escape where you just like, wait, what? Why am I doing it? Why do I feel like this? Why can't I stop this? Why can't I start this? What's causing this? Who am I? What am I? And it just seems like it's always destined to be this thing that you don't really know what's going on. That's not true. Actually, one of the coolest things in the view of reality that Swedenborg described is the attention to detail that can be given around emotions, around feelings, that you can actually look at those with like an electron microscope level scrutiny and enlightenment and understanding. Like we can figure ourselves out, is what I'm trying to say. How many feelings do you have? Let's talk about your emotional complexity. How many feelings do you have? Do you have 50 different like desires and wants and reactions and like 50? What is it? And could you describe one of your feelings to me? And I mean the whole thing. Like you have a longing for, tell me everything about it. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could tell me every little bit about what's in that feeling? No, you can't. It's a trick question. You can't. Because it's way too complex for anybody to fathom. This is from Secrets of Heaven, where we get into the nature of what feelings are like on the granular level. Any desire contains within itself such a boundless number of elements that it cannot possibly be grasped in any way, still less described. Told you couldn't describe it to me, even though it appears to be a single, uncomplicated entity. Elements. Do you ever think about feelings having elements in them? It just seems like, well, that hurt my feelings, or that made me feel good. It's just like the one thing, right? Actually, it's a lot like a finger. You might say, oh, that's just one thing. This finger here. Well, I mean, sure, there's maybe like 3 pieces to it. No, there are billions of things in the finger. If you get down to the cellular level, there are billions of things going on in there. Maybe trillions if you count the individual proteins and molecules. There is a ton going on in there. That's how it is with each of your feelings. There is so much in each of those, so many little features and quirks and patterns and movements. There's a ton in each one. Each one is indescribably complex. And one fascinating reason why that is that your whole self, up to the point at which you have that feeling, goes into that feeling. The previous stages of your life are present in that. Every desire holds within itself the whole life we have acquired from infancy up to whatever stage we have reached when we develop the desire. So when you were 13 or 14 and you suddenly really wanted to be accepted by your social peers in a new way, that feeling that, hey, don't you think I'm cool? That had the entirety of you in it. That only you being who you are and who you were and all the different other ways you've lived your life up until then. Somehow that's all in there. I don't know exactly how that works. But there's something that your longing for that is not like anyone else's. Because it has you in it. The way that we feel about things has the whole us in it. But actually there's even more going on in any particular feeling. Because there's not just you, there's where you came from. In fact, it contains even more than that, since it includes what we have inherited by birth from our father and mother, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. yeah, it's getting weird. It started weird. We're talking about the nature of desires and feelings, but this seems like this is another level. Wait. My mom and dad are in my feelings. Well, yeah. I mean, they're in your body. We're used to the fact now that there is your ancestors in your finger. Like this is millions of years of my ancestors went to make up the DNA that's made the finger how it is. So it is with your emotions. It's called spiritual heredity. Where does your disposition come from? Why are you like you are? Not every bit. There's like the free will and the choice and with events in your life. But why do you have the tendencies that you have? It's because just like physically, our DNA structure is laid out by the generations that came before and what kind of environment they were living in. Your emotional makeup is laid out by the generations previous. Like you have a spiritual equivalent to DNA. So within the way that you feel something or the way you react to something is the influence of all the people who came before you and their reactions. Swedenborg says, the desire is the whole person, just as she or he is. So all that past influence, plus your present, plus the environment and how it influences you, all of that is visible if you could study that feeling. You could see all that in it because of it so uniquely is what it is. Which in Swedenborg's day must have been this guy is out to lunch. What do you even talk? Woo. But now that's fairly commonplace. I mean, everybody understands that in every single little cell in your body is the blueprint for your entire body. So in every single feeling, there is the blueprint for who you are. I mean, you are in every little bit of your feelings, which might be a little bit fascinating, but I would say, so what? How is that good or bad? How is that comforting? Well, it's comforting, in my super humble opinion, because of what it allows you to do. And specifically with what happens, and I think pretty regularly, in the afterlife with feelings. Because they have this much information in them, they can be used to ascertain amazing things and open up possibilities for healing and sorting ourselves out that are too good to be true. In the other world, our dominant desire is sometimes laid out in the open and presents a picture of us. You probably have a lot of pictures of you, like snap a photo, but is that really who you are? You can get a diagram of who you are based on your dominant desire being made visible in front of you. So the dominant desire is the thing that you love the most. It's what's really driving you. Do you know what's really driving you? We don't even really usually know the nature of our own dominant desire, but Swedenborg is very adamant that there's something that is like the king or queen inside you. We have a lot of other things we like, but they go ultimately to serve our core purpose, or we view all of them through our core purpose. And that dominant desire, that almighty impulse inside of us, that's who we are. Fundamentally, that's who we are, and it's different in every human being that's ever existed. So, in the spiritual world, you can put that out in front of you and examine it. And look at what's like. What kind of information do you pull from being able to see your core, the core of who you are emotionally? It shows how much self-love and how much materialism we harbor. So on the negative side, how egomaniacal and sense-centered are we? And how much love for good principles? What kind of goal and purpose we have? It reveals how much we love what is good and true, what that goodness and truth are like. Did you know you have that many categories inside you? And also how they are organized, how the goodness and truth we have are organized, the close ties, looser ties, and the wide gaps between them. right now, they're just starting to figure out this science of, okay, we can take a swab of your cheek and figure out from your DNA there, we can figure out a nutritional plan for you. Because you have this, you might need to eat this kind of food and sort out this total mess that is like, what do I actually eat so that I don't feel tired and bloated all the time? They can start to figure that out. Well, this is that, but for who you are, for your actual self, your soul, what it's like to be you. And the way that they're describing it, I would sign up in a heartbeat for this process. Yeah, I want to go to the divine doctor and here's your scan, here's exactly who you are, what you're like. And it's fascinating is saying, okay, there's like, okay, if we were to have, let's say we scan somebody here and we're able to, I don't know exactly the mechanism by which they do it in the spiritual world, but they like do something cool looking. And then here it is. Well, you have this much love of self in there. You got this much love of the world in there. So those things we would hope, you can decrease those. But you've also got, you've got some love for what is good. Actually, this much here. And you've also got a love for what is true over here. And here's particular, you've got this, you care about your family. You want to do the right thing. You've got a good concept of the divine and who the divine human is, and this is a good sense of what is right and wrong. Not only that, but you can know, well, this actually, these two are pretty close, but these two, it seems like you need to connect this thought with this feeling a little bit more. You could get granular level, like this is what's going on with you. You know that confusing landscape you navigate? This is what's going on with you. That's who you are. This weird looking yellow and blue-eyed smiley face. Why? What would you do with all that then? This is the coolest part, by far. Everything else was not cool compared to this. So it indicates how far out of tune with the design of heaven we are, or how far in tune. There's a way you're supposed to be. There's a way that you're supposed to be, that things are supposed to be, with feelings. There's a design and a way to get those in order. And you might say, hey man, I don't want you to tell me I should or shouldn't feel like. Well, I do. Think about this. You can go to the chiropractor. I don't know if is that considered new age? Is that a regular thing? I always went to chiropractors. And when you go to the chiropractor, they can take a x-ray of you. And then they can hold that x-ray up and hold next to a picture of how a person's spine is supposed to be and say, hey, you see here how this is totally flat and this part is too curved? Well, that's out of it. This is the design. This is how it's supposed to be. And if we just get you to do these exercises and crack your back here, we can get you into this. And the reason why that's good, why it's not just like, hey, you're trying to homogenize me? No, because when you get into the design, there are cascading good effects. When your spine gets into the right shape, that lifts here so you're not crunching your organs anymore and they function better. You have a better blood flow in the back of your head looks better. Everything gets better because it's meant to work a certain way. It's not taking away who you are, it's giving you the ability to be who you're supposed to be. So there's a divine design. I would not want anything more than to sit down across from God and for God to say, hey, look, so you're doing a great job. You're doing a really great job. Just so you know, this love of self is at 20%. We'd love to get that down into the 15, 14% range. If we could, and we want to increase your love of what is good and true, you actually need to, if you don't mind, see if you can put this action together with this love of what's good. And I want that. I would pay $150 million for that. I wouldn't have even thought it was possible. Growing up, I was just so confused by a lot of the stuff that I felt or just like dismayed by it. And how is this all going to work out? It can work out. There's a design, and the effort in divine providence is to get you into that. All of these things become clear from a disclosure of our dominant desire, as mentioned, because the desire is the whole person. It seems incredible to people on earth that this could be so. But it is still true. When you want to get into the design physically, like I just mentioned, let's say you need to get your spine straightened out, or let's say you need to eat a certain way or exercise. Our part is simple, relatively simple. It doesn't mean it doesn't take effort, it's not hard, but we are not doing the complex work to get us. If you're going to get in shape, you do a few things, you move your arms and you run, and your body does all the amazing, divide all these cells and realign this. The hard work is being done somewhere where we can't see. That's how it is with these feelings and the divine design. There's a reason they're so complex, because life can only really function in this amazing complexity. We don't ever have to carry the weight of figuring out how to put all those things where they are. That's what God is trying to do. All we need to do is work with God on it. So if we do the basics, which is don't do what you know is harmful. Look at things that you know are against whatever you believe the divine commandments to be, and say, I'm not going to do this because that's not good. That's it. That's what you need to do. That is your neck exercises for the day. Try to learn as best you can what is good and what is true, and try to put those as best you can into action, make them part of your life. That is plenty. If we are starting to do that, then God sees the mess that we are and says, no, I can fix this. There's a plan and a way we can get back into alignment. And if we are putting in our effort on our side, absolutely, God is able to do, even with all those infinite things inside of us, get us into this, how we were meant to be, where all of your individuality can exist and thrive and be there, but be there as in this joyful, free, healthy feeling state that is just like, oh, that feels so good. I got my neck back in alignment. That feels so good. So just know, the takeaway for me is that everything inside you is cared for. It's known and it's cared for. God and heaven and your spiritual team are going to be able to work with you. They know how to fix this. They know how to do it. And in the end, everything's going to be good. That's what I take away from this whole weird thing about the infinite pieces of a feeling and how your history, all it leads to is it's going to be okay.